Welcome, Scorpio, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 27th of April for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead first, then on screen your event chart as we go into the week always provides an influential backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture, Scorpio, of what you can expect by the end of the video in terms of energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. Relationships are going to be right under the astral microscope this week, but there's all sorts of relationships. They don't have to be intimate. They can be with our family, the people we live with, or it can be with ourselves. And Pluto, your higher octave modern ruler, is going to be right at the heart of the cosmic action. Also, as last week came to a close, Venus, followed by Uranus, dive deep, moving into your eighth house. The eighth house has an echo of Scorpio, but the host, Gemini, is very much about quick communication. How will that play out for you too? So on the screen now, we have your event chart, Scorpio. Let's look at the position of Pluto in that fourth house. So going to be there full time through to 243, briefly move into Pisces, then back into that fourth house, and then returning and exiting in 244. So Pluto can be very much about bringing things up that we're not entirely conscious of. And right at the start of this week, he is in a square with the sun in your sector of relating. Now, the sun in the seventh house can give us a greater appreciation of the benefits of harmony, but it can also be where we want to mark out our boundary. It can be where we need to be more competitive. But if there are tensions between you and someone you live with, romantically, a flatmate, a family member, they're going to be showing up. And because of this combination, Venus and Uranus, early in the sign of Gemini, last week came together on Friday in an exact conjunction in your sector of relating. It wouldn't be a surprise if there was some kind of falling out, a quarrel, a disagreement, and your immediate inclination could be to finish it, to release yourself from it and liberate yourself from the tension. But the eighth house can also be about deep devotion, not just about what comes to a close. Yes, Uranus is a very electric influence. And to be honest, if you've got an entrepreneurial streak in your nature, the next 7 years, you're likely to do something very inventive that can give you a return. But immediately, what these two can do is also make you much more conscious of what you yearn for. And that's intriguing because the seventh house can be about wanting things to be very much give and take, but maybe you can become more conscious of what you really need, even with a little bit of space from that other person. Ironically, Venus forges a magical link with Neptune at the very start of this week. If you are an artistic or creative person, but can turn that into some kind of practical object or service, you could monetize it. Venus then comes into a brilliant trine with your modern ruler, Pluto. If the mists of upset are beginning to die down, it could be a time when you have a very deep conversation about what to do. But then Venus goes on to connect in a sextile to Saturn, and that is very, very good if you're someone who wants to make more from your resources, not necessarily by doing something extravagant, but just managing what you've got in a very astute way. And talking of which, Mercury, the planet of communication, but also details, is in your sixth house at the start of this week and in a square with Jupiter. You could feel a little bit resentful if there's part of you that has to attend to everyday obligations because Jupiter, right through to the end of June, is urging you to do things in a much more spontaneous and exciting and broader way. However, that brings us to the full moon in your zodiac sign on Friday, the 1st of May. So the first 2 weeks of the new month could be highly charged if you're still trying to decipher and work out this relationship dynamic. But equally, this combination, even as they came to the end of their journey in Taurus, may have given you an electric connection to somebody new, someone who's proven to be rather irresistible. But the full moon in your zodiac sign here is in the first house, where it can be much more sensitive. And the sun in the seventh house is about what you would like from the other person. And if that feels out of kilter, that can be magnified because Pluto is broadly T-squaring both positions, the T-square. However, what we do have right at the end of the week as Mercury moves into the sign of Taurus. Taurus is good for Mercury because Mercury can use its logic, detachment, precision, but also communicational skills in the seventh house to start talking things through, but in a more grounded, tangible way. Mercury in the seventh house is also brilliant for listening more attentively to what other people are saying. So that's the big picture of this week for you, Scorpio. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But just before I do, I've slashed the price of my personal horoscopes. It's now three for the price of one. You order your life roadmap report, totally unique to you. That helps you to understand the patterns that are played out so far, but also get a more intimate understanding of the impact, but how to work with your core natal chart more effectively future forwards. The free chart, the 12-month transit forecast, and also your draconic soul karmic portrait. I'm doing this because I realize that people are feeling the pinch, but also I'm truly invested and enthusiastic about the value of natal astrology because the more we understand what makes us tick, the more the world would steer towards safer waters. Please check out the opportunity below. Now, if you've yet to watch your May monthly forecast, Scorpio, that's on the screen. If you've yet to watch your 1 year Uranus into Gemini forecast on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, pleasure, please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to sign up for your free daily forecast, fire to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, please take advantage of that opportunity too. Now, to summarize, when it comes to your financial situation, if you're very open-minded over the next year, I think you could earn more money, but it may require you to be quite flexible, open to new ideas, maybe technology, and maybe skillfully relating whatever your idea or service is to people. When it comes to your physical vitality, Saturn is in that sixth house still. We've all only got a certain amount of energy each day, so you do need to use it very applied, not spread yourself too thinly. When it comes to your romantic situation, I think this could be a little bit of a bumpy week if things have been tense between you. And maybe it's all to do with a little bit of a battle of wills, particularly if you're both quite strong-willed people, or perhaps could I say even stubborn. But there's still the opportunity through that full moon to actually release what's not working, talk it through, but understand that everything does require a little bit of flexing. Thank you so much for joining me, Scorpio. Have a great week and look forward to seeing you again soon.